Hey everyone, this is Barbel. I have just recently updated my portfolio book and I thought I would take the opportunity to share with you my experience doing that and also some of the learnings that I did. So in this video I will share with you why I did this update, how I did it and what I did. And at the end of this video I will share with you and show you the complete new portfolio book, every page, every spread and all the content that I included in there. So there are many different ways you can create a portfolio. You can create a digital portfolio or a physical portfolio, or both actually, of course. And a digital portfolio can be anything from your Instagram feed. That can be sort of your portfolio. Or you can create a page on your website, which is something that I think you have to have actually as a pattern designer. And that can be just a sub-page where you display some patterns, or it can be a PDF that you can with a link to a PDF. It can also be using a tool like Issue where you upload your portfolio as a PDF and it's turned into this book that you can virtually turn the pages with. A physical version of a portfolio can be a brochure or a magazine, or you can do it yourself and bind your own book. And this is what I have done up till now actually. I have created my own book from scratch like this. I had fabric printed from Spoonflower and bought these hardcover boards and printed all the pages, and I cut them out and I glued them together to be two-sided and assemble everything. So as fun and creative way this is to create your portfolio, it takes a lot of time and effort, and the material is not cheap, so I don't think that this is the most cost-efficient way to go about it either. So this creating your own portfolio can make it really personal and all, but in the long run I think another option is more efficient and as good as creating your own, really, and that is to use a photo book supplier or a printer, someone that can print your book and do everything for you except for the layout, of course. So this is what I have chosen to do this time. And the reason I wanted to update my portfolio now is because I am planning to do a larger effort, a bigger effort to contact new companies to create new design collaborations, hopefully. And so I wanted to have a larger number of books to send out and use as a pitching tool. And so I didn't want to create all of them myself. I wanted to have someone help me do it. And also this spring I once and for all defined and designed my brand and created my brand guidelines. And so I wanted my portfolio to have this look and feel to be cohesive with everything else that I have put out there, all my other touch points, so to speak. So that's another reason. And I have also wanted to make some changes with my patterns and collections. I wasn't really all pleased with some of the patterns looked anymore. I have created some of them for a long time ago, and now I felt that I needed to improve them a little bit and update them. And also my collections needed to be refreshed a little bit. And I have also created a complete new collection that I wanted to include in my book. And so for this, I have picked out 2 different suppliers to test out and compare and to see which one I prefer and want to go with when I'm printing all my new books. So I want to share the result with you and show, and also the comparison that I'm making between these 2 different options, these 2 suppliers. And the 2 suppliers or printers that I chose to test is blurb.com, and also a Swedish supplier that's called fotoklok.se. Here is the blurb book that came in the mail yesterday, and I was really delighted when I saw it. I think it turned out beautifully. And this is a large landscape format, and the measures are, let's see, 13 times 11 inches, which is 33 times 28 centimeters. So it's 33 wide and 28 tall. The second supplier, Fotoklok.se, is also a large landscape size, and this one is, let's see, 34 centimeters wide and 27 centimeters tall. For the blurb book, I chose this type of cover. It's a linen oops, it's a linen cover like this. It is sort of a sand color, and then it has this dust jacket where I could print my own image, of course. And I really liked this linen texture, look and feel. I love that. Feels exclusive and, you know, professional. I would have really liked the dust cover as well if it could have been done in a more matte surface. This is too glossy for my taste, really. And for the Fotoklok version, for this specific size of the book, there wasn't this linen cover option with a dust jacket as with blurb. I could only use this printed image, but it also wraps around the whole cover, so it's a really good alternative still, I think. And also the surface is really matte. It also feels really exclusive, and I really like this actually, and it goes really well together with the pattern that I've chosen for my cover. So of these two, I like them both a lot. I would probably use the blurb book without the cover, which is a bit too bad because I really like how the pattern turns and the label at the front here turned out. And I really like the print and surface and look and feel on this one. So I could go with either one here, I guess. But I think that Fotoklok is the winner on this feature. But if it would have the option of this linen cover with a dust jacket and the matte surface, that would have been 100% in my book. Haha. So the next feature I want to compare is the paper quality of the inside of the book. So let's start with the blurb one again. So the blurb inside here is I chose to try out sort of this semi-glossy paper, and I really like the touch and feel of it and the look of it. It feels really, you know, professional again. I don't like to use that word, but in lack of words, it feels just really, it has a nice finish, definitely. So I like it. I think though, with this gloss, semi-glossy or semi-matte, it affects the color display, but I will talk more about that later. For the Fotoklok version book, the Fotoklok version, here's the same spread for that. Oh. I chose more of a matte paper, so it doesn't have the same type of gloss as the blurb book. And comparing these two, I like this one better. It feels more design or artistic, and that's the impression that I want, the message that I want to convey. So comparing these two papers, and I think that you can, and you can get that matte type of paper from blurb as well. But here I think that the matte paper is the winner. Third feature that I want to mention is the quality of print, and for both these books I think it's equal. Everything looks sharp clean, and of course it depends on how you create the print file, of course, but since I did the same way for both these books, I can compare them, and so they are both equally good in quality when it comes to print and sharpness and resolution and just how it displays. The next feature I want to compare is the color display, and here comes the big significant difference between these two books. When it comes to blurb, I think that maybe the glossy or semi-glossy surface can have something to do with it, but comparing the blurb and the Photocloak version, you will see, I will try to give you a close-up later, the colors comes out a little bit darker than in the blurb book than in the Photocloak book. So there is a difference there. And to be honest, the Photocloak version is more true to the color display that I have on my screen when creating the print file. For example, here on the cover, the blurb book to the left comes out a little bit more pink than the Photocloak version on the right. And so here the Photocloak version is more true in color compared to the screen display. But here you can see on the top the blurb version, and now this is more true to color compared to the Photocloak. So when it comes to these two specific test books, here Photocloak is the winner again. But I think if I would choose the matte paper for blurb, I think that would also improve the color display a little bit. So two more things to compare between these two suppliers. One thing is, of course, the price, the cost for these two test books, and also delivery time. And the pricing was completely equal. It differed a couple of Swedish crowns between them, I think, so that's impressive. But as I'm about to order a larger number, I think I'm going to order 10 units. There is a difference between them when it comes to a discount when you order a larger volume. And here Blurb is the winner because they will give me a 30% discount if I order between 10 and 19 units, and 20 plus units will give me 40% discount. And Photocloak is not near as generous as that. If I order like 3 to 5 units, I will get a 5% discount. And if I order 10 units, I will get a 10% discount. So here Blurb is to prefer, definitely. When it comes to delivery and turnover time, they were completely equal as well. From me pressing publish and order till I had both books in my hand was 5 working days. And only that is really impressive, I think. I thought it would be a lot longer, especially for Blurb, who is a US-based company, and I'm in Sweden, in Europe. But I'm guessing that they have a European printer, could be. I'm not sure. Blurb delivered directly to my door. Photocloak I had to go and pick up at a post office stop. All right, enough talking already, right? Now you want to see the book, what it looks like, and not just this sneak peek you've been getting. Okay, so I will show you the Photocloak version. I haven't really completely decided yet. I'm leaning towards the Photocloak because of the quality of the color, and also I like this cover. I know I can get this from Blurb as well, and perhaps I should try out the matte paper there. So I'm not sure. Perhaps it will all come down to price and cost, and I would hate that. It has to feel right. Okay, so here is what it looks like. For the cover, for the wraparound, I chose one of my brand patterns that I have created for my brand, which I'm using on my website and all kinds of places. And it's this toile de jouy. And then I have also this badge or label that I have placed here in the middle. It says Bärbel Classic Patterns and Prints and Portfolio. And these books, the 10 that I'm gonna order now, are gonna be in Swedish. I'm gonna start contacting some Swedish companies, but I will also do English versions of these later on. So let's see. And then there comes this first cover page, which is completely white. And then I have this first intro page with another of my brand patterns and that same logo or label. For the first spread, I'm starting with displaying another pattern on a large surface like this, and this is a pattern that's included in one of my collections that I will show in their wholeness in another spread. And then I start out with a page with a bio where I present myself a little bit and what I've done, what I do, what I can, and what I offer, really, what I can help a client with. And the next spread is where I show some of my client work that I have created. So here is examples of what I've done with Svanefors. It's a Swedish home textile company. So it's 2 of the collaborations that we have done or launched so far. Hint, hint, there is more coming. And then I have this is my most recent client work that I have launched, which is a custom toile de jouy that I made for a company called My Alpaca. And they create really exclusive luxury duvets and pillows and throws made of alpaca wool. And then I have another client, another custom pattern that I created for this Northeast American children's apparel company called Nantucket Kids, also a custom-made toile de jouy. And then on this page I have some other client work that I have created. It's like 4 different of them. Then comes another spread with, let's do this instead, with another pattern. It's one of the damask patterns I did, well, not too long ago. And then here comes a page where I sort of introduce my patterns with sort of my vision, and also here I mentioned that I have a pattern bank and that you can read more about it later on in this book. And here comes the first pattern collection that I have included in this portfolio. And this is my newest pattern collection, and it's called South Meadow in English. In Swedish, it's Söderhagen. And this refers to the place where I live. I live in a place called South Meadow or Söderhagen. For this one, I was inspired by my home and the neighborhood and what I can see when I walk out the door or look out the window. And for this I have also been very, very inspired by arts and crafts styled patterns. And here is the first colorway, and this one is called Dawn. And so I have a second colorway, and of course this one is called Dusk. So I have a mix of large scale, medium scale, and small scale patterns here, but these are not true to scale here in this portfolio. I think most of them are much more large scaled, to be used for a much larger scale. And here is my second collection that I've included here. It's called Anthropology. It also comes in 2 colorways, and so here is one of the hero patterns, and here is the first colorway, which is called Truth. And I like to play around with these names because, for example, all of these patterns, they have names that are sort of under the umbrella of anthropology. And so this one is called Nomad, and when I call it with the colorway, it becomes Nomad Truth. And this one here is called Ritual. So in this colorway, it becomes Ritual Truth. Here is the second colorway with more sort of a little bit more green in there. And this one is called Myth, Anthropology Myth. So this becomes Nomad Myth, and here is Ritual Myth. So I like to how they sort of evolve when you put the colorways together with the names. Here's a third collection, which is called Perfect Weekend. And these patterns I created mainly using watercolor, most of them at least. And here is a colorway that is called Beach House. And here is a colorway called Mountain Cabin. And I have a fourth collection, pattern collection in this book. And this one is called Where the Sea Meets Shore, and inspired by exactly that, the area where sea meets shore. And here is one of the hero patterns for that collection. And then I display them here all together, which shows the colorway that is called Morning. And this is, of course, Evening. So these were the 4 collections that I have included in this portfolio. And then I continue on with some single patterns. And as you can see throughout the whole book, I've tried to display them as large as possible so that you can get a real, true impression and feel for each pattern and how they come across. And so for these single patterns, I have placed them so that they are, well, sort of going well together as well. It's almost like a mini collection. And here I continue with some others. So I've coordinated them a little bit color-wise as well. And here's the third single pattern display. Trying to show different types of patterns that I can create, like toiles, some Indian florals, and then I had, as you saw before, arts and crafts and damask and coordinating, blending, and hero patterns. And then I finish with the last 2 spreads. Well, for this one, these I call more of sales pages, really, because here I'm trying to clarify a little bit what the services, the value that I'm offering my clients. So this page is all about my pattern bank that I have created, and that you can, as a potential client or a client, can have access to as sort of a member. And so here I talk about what you can do here in my pattern bank and sort of all the unique selling points for it. And on this page I'm talking about that I of course create custom-made patterns. So I've already showed that a little bit in the pages about my client work, but here I want to really make this as appealing and inspiring as possible, showing some of the work, the custom patterns or illustrations from some of the custom patterns that I have created. And then I finish it all off with this spread with one of my favorite patterns I've created. And then the last page here is information, contact information, where you can find me and how to get in touch with me. And then as a final sign off, I have this brand pattern again with my little logo, just to wrap things up a little bit. And that's it. And here on the back side, I have that logo as well. So that was my portfolio. So I really hope that this has been something of value to you, that has inspired you and given you some ideas and tips and a little bit of a guidance, I hope also. Because creating a portfolio, in my experience, it can be really a struggle between choices, especially knowing what to include is really difficult. With that said, in my own personal experience, creating the portfolio is the easy part. It's using it that's the most difficult part, but I think that's a whole separate story. Perhaps I will talk about that in another video, and then what I mean here is pitching, selling, marketing yourself to companies. And that's so important part of our jobs as pattern designers, to have the guts to do that and do it well. And I have plenty of things to say there as well, so perhaps there will be a different video coming up later on. So I would like to wrap this up by encouraging you to get in touch with me, because I would really like to know what questions you have when it comes to creating your portfolio. Also, what you struggle with, the problems that you encounter, the dilemmas, the choices. So please, can you send me an email and tell me your questions and the things that you struggle with when it comes to creating a portfolio. And I will try to answer everything as best as I can, as best to my ability. And if there are a lot of questions that are the same, that touch on the same area or pain point, perhaps I can do a new video about that, or perhaps there is material enough here to create a separate course. I don't know. That would be great, actually. All right, so let me know. Contact me, email me at barbell@bearbell.se. All right. Okay, thank you for watching all to the end, and I'll see you another time.